Oh yes, the late Sir Howard Felix Hanlon Cook was indeed an original man and the son of the soil, serving Jamaica as a teacher, parliamentarian, and as Governor General from 1991 to 2006. Sir Howard, who passed away on July 11 at age 98, was today laid to rest at the National Heroes Park following a state funeral. Coming up, we pay tribute to the statesman of impeccable character, and later, spending tips for children as they brainstorm how to spend their lunch money when school resumes in September. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Those and more in a few minutes.
It keeps our bodies working, our food nutritious, our living and working spaces clean, and our lives comfortable. Water, the most precious resource necessary for the sustenance of life on our planet. Don't waste it. Let's conserve on this critical commodity. In the house, invest in storage containers and buckets. Take quick showers instead of long baths, and invest in water-efficient shower heads, toilets, and faucets. You may also want to consider one-pot meals and cooking methods that don't require much water. You could also wash fruits and vegetables in a bowl and reuse the water on your plants or grass. When cleaning dishes, fill both sinks and use one for washing and the other for rinsing. The leftover water can be used to wash off the concrete or asphalt in your yard. If you must wash your car at home, aim for once a fortnight and use a bucket to do the washing instead of running the hose. Don't delay. Start your water conservation practices today.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your JIS News for Friday, August 8. Hundreds gathered at the Holy Trinity Cathedral Friday morning to say farewell to one of Jamaica's most beloved former governors general. Sir Howard Cook's state funeral, which was joined to live broadcast by the JIS, PBCJ, CPTC and private media partners, follows his death on July 11. His family and friends were joined by the current Governor General, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition and other national figures in celebrating his life.
Sir Howard has been and remains a source of inspiration for many generations. What good, my mentor and my friend.
He has earned deservedly a unique place in the pantheon of Jamaican history. Howard Cook's relentless pursuit of an inspired lifelong mission ensured the outcome of its positive realization. This son of noble St. James has managed to fashion the template for our own indigenous nobility.
He was the most genuine, kind, virtuous, and honorable man I have ever known. He was really my only friend. No one in my life has ever treated me the way that man did.
Grandpa,
we love
you. May your soul rest in peace.
Many ordinary Jamaicans also turned out at the Holy Trinity Cathedral and the National Heroes Park to pay their respects to the man affectionately called Teacher. In other news, the Ministry of Health is cautioning persons against non-essential travel to areas affected by the Ebola virus, as the illness continues to ravage West Africa. In a press briefing Thursday morning, the Portfolio Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson stressed the importance of personal responsibility for health. He, however, assured that the ministry continued to keep abreast of developments globally and maintained a close partnership with the Pan American Health Organization on all health-related issues.
I would like to stress that Jamaica does not at this time fall into the category of high-risk countries for transmission of the Ebola virus. Nonetheless, we continue to strengthen our health system to deal with any such eventuality.
Minister Ferguson said surveillance at our points of entry was already in place and added that the ministry would continue to train and sensitize health workers as part of measures to increase our vigilance and preparedness for this disease. Ebola is a severe and often fatal illness which is transmitted through direct contact with blood, other bodily fluids or secretions such as stool, saliva, urine and semen of infected persons. Persons do not become infectious until they begin to show symptoms, which include sudden onset of fever, intense weakness, muscle pain, headache and sore throat. In other health news, the Jamaica Cancer Society JCS now has a state-of-the-art mammography unit to facilitate the early detection of breast cancer in women. It was handed over to the society last week.
The commissioning of this mammography unit is a step in the right direction, especially since breast cancer is among women the most prevalent type of cancer in Jamaica.
Over the past 10 years, the JCS has screened more than 70,300 women for breast cancer and has successfully brought early detection to 1,200 within the same period.
Let us continue this work. Let us continue this fight together as we strive to achieve the national target of reducing the incidence of cancer by 25% by the year 2025.
National Security Minister Peter Bunting has asked the Acting Commissioner of Police Glenmore Hines to immediately examine the arrangements for supervising detainees to ensure their safety. This follows reports that an inmate at the Barnett Street Police Station in St. James, Mario Dean, died on Wednesday after receiving injuries while in police custody. A release from the ministry said Dean, who was attacked by inmates on Sunday, later succumbed to his injuries at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. The matter is being investigated by the Independent Commission of Investigations and the police. Minister Bunting has since expressed his condolences to the family and friends of Mario Dean for the tragic and unnecessary loss. Dean was charged for possession of a small quantity of marijuana. Minister Bunting is therefore calling for review of the process of arresting citizens with small quantities of marijuana. Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ has extended the deadline for filing GCT returns for the month of June. The deadline for filing the general consumption tax returns was originally set for July 31 and is now due on August 15. In a release, TAJ said some suppliers and government entities were experiencing challenges with the new policy where GCT is now being charged on government purchases. Stakeholders have therefore requested more time to work through the changes, and TAJ will use the opportunity to provide additional support to government ministries, departments and agencies, as well as to registered taxpayers. Under the new policy, government entities are required to withhold GCT charged on purchases and pay the amounts directly to the tax authority. The suppliers will later use the withholding certificates issued to them to claim a credit when filing GCT returns. For more information, persons may call TAJ at 1-888-829-4357 or visit jamaicatax.gov.gm. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Sir Howard Cook's contribution to Jamaica cannot be overemphasized. We pause to pay tribute to his life and works.
Father, pastor, teacher, cricketer, Governor General. Sir Howard Felix Hanlon Cook was a man for all seasons. He was born November 15, 1915 and raised in a little village in Goodwill, St. James. With a butcher for a dad and a seamstress for a mum, Howard Cook knew the meaning of humble beginnings. And as for his journey to success, let's just say the path he walked left him with his fair share of blisters.
I was a village boy, and ran around the village barefooted like the rest of the little boys, climbing trees, setting springes for birds. Oh, my life was a happy one.
But as he grew, young Howard realized that Jamaica of the early 1900s was gripped by social injustices and hardships. Thus, as early as his first year in Michael College, this bright and idealistic 17-year-old began to feel he must help make a change.
There was a fire in our belly. We wanted to improve. We wanted to run better. We wanted to play cricket. We had our George Headley coming up, and we wanted to emulate him. At that time, we heard of only two great barristers, Norman Manley and J.G. Smith. But we all wanted to be J.G. Smith or Norman Manley. And it was a course where we were anxious, very anxious, to have excellence without even being able to identify what was excellent.
College days were exciting, a time of intellectual ferment. They were also days of wholesome development and fun. Far from a bookworm, Cooksey, as his friends called him, was a sports enthusiast. It was there too that his passion for politics was manifested, and the time would come for politics on an even grander scale. Cooksey was also a good and spirited friend.
I've never seen him get into a temper. We're walking together, and I was needling him. But I was being very cautious physically. And sure enough, I saw his fist coming around to my head. And I was able to duck. And then we both laughed, you see.
Howard Cook dedicated 23 years to teaching in the classroom, an occupation he speaks of with the greatest delight. His teaching career started at Michael College and Practicing School. He then went on to serve as headmaster at Bell Castle All Age, Port Antonio Upper School, and Montego Bay Boys School. And in Jamaica of the 1930s and 40s, a teacher did not simply teach. He was the highly respected agent of socialization and guidance.
The teacher was everything. If a person had a quarrel with his wife, then teacher would have to go and settle it. If they had some differences in land occupation, they called in the teacher. If somebody had died and the minister wasn't there, the teacher buried the dead. He preached the sermon on the Sunday and taught the children on the Monday.
They help many, many children with private lessons, with all kinds of things. I'm sure my mother doesn't know how many people my father, helped, and we don't know either, but he was always helping people.
The spirit of excellence and academic achievement were constant motivators for Teacher Cook.
Whatever village I went to teach, or whatever school, I was jealous that my school should be better than other schools. And because of that, I worked hard. And I spent a lot of time teaching the children to aspire.
He furthered his studies at London University, but returned home to hone his craft as teacher. The union between man and job wasn't the only combination that kept Howard going. There was also the coming together of man and bride. It was none other than Ivy Sylvia Lucille Ty that caught the eye of young Cooksey. She was an honors graduate of Bethlehem Training College and had been specially selected to teach at the Kingston Senior School. On July 22, 1939, Howard Cook and Ivy Ty became husband and wife. The union produced 3 children, Howard Fitzarthur, Richard Washington McDermott, and Audrey Faith. Howard's first stint in politics began at the Michael College. Back then, political activist Osmond Theodore Fairclough, popularly called OT, began to tickle his mind with notions of change and improvement of the social condition. At that time, Jamaica's mass lived and worked with no representational voice. Men worked for 1 shilling a day and women for 9 pence, though they worked the same hours. Social conditions were appalling. 3/4 of the population lived in acute poverty, and even basic health and educational facilities were hard to come by. Something had to be done.
I remember the days when throughout the country, people had to cope with malaria, they had to cope with yaws, and tropical diseases. There was a deliberate effort to wipe that out, and we have succeeded. And we are not glorifying those people who have made a great contribution. And it is so unfortunate that these days you hear everybody talking about the politician is this and the politician is not remembering that it was the politicians, the teachers, the ministers who led in that great social revolution has taken place in our country.
The moment of transition for Teacher Cook came when he, then a member of the Jamaica Union of Teachers, was sent as one of 2 delegates to discuss the formation of a political party. Though he was the youngest person in the room, he was selected to be part of a steering committee that would decide on the way forward. And again, when a committee of 7 was selected to draft the constitution of the new party, Howard Cook was numbered in their midst. The party became known as the People's National Party. Howard Cook led an exciting life in representational politics, always acting on behalf of the people in Western Jamaica. In 1958, an interesting development took place. The West Indies Federation was born, and Mr. Cook was elected to the West Indies Federal Parliament as the representative for St. James. But the Federation did not survive its infancy. Sir Howard eventually entered the Jamaican Parliament in 1962 and served as senator until early 1967. He also served as member of the House of Representatives between 1967 and 1980 and was a Minister of Government between 1972 and 1980. As minister, he held at different times the portfolios of pension and security, education, and labor and the public service. As Minister of Education, Howard Cook was passionate about his first love. He succeeded in getting counseling introduced in every school and clamored for schools to be built as part of any planned community. Sir Howard Cook was also President of the Senate from 1989 to 1991 and served on the executive of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. The zenith of Sir Howard's life in public service came in 1991. The country boy turned teacher turned politician stepped into the highest office in the land. Howard Felix Hanlon Cook became the 3rd Jamaican-born Governor-General of Jamaica, following in the steps of Sir Florizel Augustus Glasspool and Sir Clifford Campbell. Somehow, in the sea of activities which have ebbed and flowed in his life, Howard Cook has managed to have other interests. He served as Group Scoutmaster and Secretary for the St. Andrew Boys Scouts Association. He captained Cornwall's cricket team and at various times was a member of the Michael College, Portland and St. James cricket teams. He was also a member of the Michael College, Portland and St. James football teams. His interests also extended to the exciting arena of culture. For many years, he was a member of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission and was Secretary and local chairman of the St. James Cultural Commission. He also judged in the JCDC festival competitions. Sir Howard was a senior elder and lay pastor in the United Church of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, and lay pastor and past chairman of the Cornwall Council of Churches. Along the path to success, Sir Howard has picked up numerous and prestigious awards. In 1978, he was awarded the Commander of Distinction, and in 1980, the Special Plaque for Distinguished Service from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. In 1991, he was awarded the Knight Grand Cross of the Most Distinguished Order of St. Michael and St. George, conferred on him by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. That same year, he received the Order of the Nation. And in 1994, the Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order was conferred on Howard Cook by Her Majesty the Queen.
It has been a learning experience. I've learned to love my people more. I have learned to understand their distresses, their struggles, but more importantly, I have been able to identify the great successes of a great people. And so I consider it a privilege and rewarding.
Challenges.
As Governor General, everybody wants you to satisfy their needs. And when anybody speaks, they want you to agree with them. So one of the difficulty was to show where you agreed or disagreed without making people unhappy. So it means that you, of necessity, you had to show skill, great skill in social relationship.
Advice to those following in his footsteps.
Listen carefully and not be quick to come to judgment.
Jamaica's third native Governor General has left his mark on our island home, a feat accomplished after many decades of selfless service.
Householders, business people, school administrators, protect yourself and your children from the chikungunya virus. Be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Chikungunya is a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which breeds in and around your home, workplace, and school. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET. And if you're experiencing symptoms of chikungunya, a sudden high fever, headache, rash, nausea, pain, stiffness, or severe joint pains, see your doctor or go to the nearest health center.
It's now time for the Small People Corner. I'm sure many of you are already making plans for school when it reopens in a few weeks. Study timetables, how to arrange your school bag, extracurricular activities, and a host of other things. Why not factor into the equation how to spend your lunch money? Advice from your peers next.
Children have to get the basic concept clear. Money is earned. And when you've worked for that, you've earned that, then the child can assimilate the fact that, okay, I must spend it wisely.
All right, guys, so as you know, we're talking about money, right? And how we use it. Starting with you, Daniel. You get your lunch money for the week. How do you budget it? Do you know how much you're supposed to get per day and stuff like that?
Well, I use $200 every day. So at the end of the week, I will have $500 to save.
Oh, so that means you save $100 per day?
Yes.
All right. So what has motivated you to start doing that saving?
Well, I save, so if I need anything, I will have money for it.
I use $100 to pay for lunch, and I save the rest. I'm saving because I would like to buy a laptop by the middle of summer. I'm around 1,600.
But is it every mickle make a muckle? So you're adding as you go along to see what can happen?
I try to spend as little as possible because I know that the times are hard for the parents now.
Right.
So I have to do something to make to try and help them.
And that's very important. Parents have a lot of bills to take care of. They have to pay for water, electricity, the car, the house, food, your school fees, and a number of other things. Plus, they have to save money for emergencies.
What do your parents do when you ask them for something? What do they normally say to you?
Well, let's say it costs $1,000 and I only have $400. I ask my parents for the other $600 and sometimes they will give it to me. Other times I have to go into my laptop fund.
The child must be accustomed to the fact that money is something that's acquired by working.
Well, they told me that if I try to conserve the lights,
Yes.
to turn off the lights when they're not being in use, they told me that they would give me at least 10 for every light, and if I get good progress, they will increase the cost. Right now, I have at least $100 to collect, and trust me, I'm going to add $5 interest.
So that would make it what? $105, right?
No, $5 for every $10 they don't give me.
Oh, okay. So you'll have to be getting some more money. So what you plan to do with that money?
Well, when I finish saving it, I'll save up for my internet, yes, and a few cartridges.
Was there ever a time that you used to waste or squander money? Never? What about that Chinese chicken thing? Tell me about that.
Chinese chicken.
Buy it after school and share it with my friends.
And have you stopped?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm trying to save.
These children do not limit saving to their piggy banks.
It's a small metal beer, but each time it can hold at least $1,000 in coins, and I put in a little US money that my grandmother sends for me. And then that goes to the bank, so it's like 1,000 each year, each month.
When I was turning 8 for my birthday, my mother's friend, I call her Auntie Cecile, she sent down 25 Canadian dollars for me. So I asked my father if he could take me to the bank so I could put it in my account.
All right, and you, Khalees?
Yes, I've done it several times. It's supposed to be for my college fund, but sometimes you really do need to borrow from it.
What would be your advice to children who normally beg and pester and nag their parents for stuff?
Don't pressure your parents. If they don't have the money, they don't have the money. So stop pestering them.
Well, I would say you start trying to make your own money.
Really? By doing what?
Well, normally I ask my parents if I could do something around the house that they would pay me for. So, like for instance, if I clean my room and their room, they would give me like $300 or so.
Sometimes I clean my parents' shoes for them. They don't have the time. I study my books, get good grades. Sometimes they reward me. And I just try my best to be good.
The essence behind Money and Kids is basically to have children learn about the concept of money, the world of money, get them financially literate so that when they become adults, they actually have a fighting chance at being fiscally responsible in their affairs, their budgeting, their salary.
And that's it for this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for spending time with us. Keep the connection going. Catch up on the latest info at jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JISnews and send your feedback to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. I'm Andrea Chisholm and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Another program comes your way tomorrow. Take care and thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.